Welcome to the OVW podcast, the unofficial podcast of Ohio Valley Wrestling. I am Jack Minogues.
And I am Brian Hines, and I'm cold.
Today we're getting into all of the action from Ohio Valley Wrestling Television 1274, emanating live originally from historic Davis Arena on January 4th, 2024. Before that, couple of things here at the top of the hour. We are days away from the 10th Annual Carney Awards, of which we were nominated for Best Podcast. We will be in attendance for said award show.
We will.
We're getting all dressed up.
We've been arguing about ties just today.
Oh, yeah. I've already got a jacket picked out, and I plan on looking real nice.
I think I'm going suit shopping maybe tomorrow before I go to work. I've got a plan. I think it's going to look really, really good. I mean, most of the time, if I conceptualize an outfit, it looks pretty good. I'm not going to lie. I know how to put them together over here. I don't look like shit all the time, I promise, just today. There's a couple of things that you can look for in our feed, both on the podcast feed and on YouTube are kind of newly, we've been breathing a lot of new life into the YouTube channel, a lot of stuff going up there, both old and new. The one, though, in particular that you would probably enjoy the most is our huge, comprehensive, uncut interview with Al Snow, which was a lot of fun to record.
If you're into your mama jokes, this is the place for you.
So like I said, you can find Al Snow on our YouTube channel. You can also find him apparently in my hometown shooting a holiday, Hallmark-style Christmas movie, which I find ironic.
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier. I'm interested to see more about that.
So our two Al Snow things are a horror movie that never got released and a Christmas movie no one's going to see for a totally different reason.
People on Hallmark Channel will. I bet it's a Hallmark movie.
I bet it's a Hallmark movie. I bet it is, but nobody's going to see it either way.
We will.
That's for the your mom jokes, bro. Your shitty acting career, bro.
When Al Snow listens to this, because he certainly listens,
yeah, he listens every week.
So mad.
You can tell he listens every week. Takes all of my suggestions on booking.
Yeah.
Steals them right off the podcast feed. You can tell he definitely has nothing else going on better to do to listen to the official, unofficial podcast of Ohio Valley Wrestling. We're going to try to knock down some more interviews as well in the coming days and weeks. I guess we have cash flow. I think we're going to try to get with Will Austin and Tiffany Nieves if we can all get on the same page for once. So be sure to look forward in the coming weeks to those interviews once they're recorded and hit the feed.
I'm excited to speak with all of them. I'm really looking forward to it.
Having cash flow by couldn't have happened on a worst week for me because I was gonna do my chop. Y'all got chopped. I still might do it. I feel like now might just be the time to go for it. Get the chop from cash flow on Friday when we sit down and record with him.
There's no time like the present.
After all of this, we'll break down all of the action from Ohio Valley Wrestling Television 1274, emanating live from historic Davis Arena right after this.
Hey folks, Tiny Brian here with you once again, and today I'm just talking about YouTube. Listen folks, the OVW podcast now has a YouTube channel where we are posting all of our episodes. This is being recorded on video right now, except you won't see me. I am literally directly behind the camera where it cannot find me. So you just hear my voice in the videos, but you will see our handsome hosts live in high definition, perhaps voguing, perhaps doing all sorts of weird things. But if you've not checked out the YouTube channel, folks, come on by, see what these weirdos look like. It's a lot of fun. You can see the now featuring Al Snow completely uncut, the full interview, almost 2 hours of it, right there for you, folks. So stop on by. That's at youtube.com/OVW podcast. And now back to the hosts of the OVW podcast already in studio.
And I don't shave my legs for nothing. I've said it once, I've said it before. Come by the YouTube channel. You see those yams I got going. This is my co-host, Brian Hines. I'm still Jack Minogues, of course. We're going to cover the pre-show. This has been, we've been not only lucky enough to go the last couple of times and get there early enough to see the pre-show, but it seems like recently on the feed, you've been seeing the pre-show as a fan from home if you don't go to Davis Arena.
As long as you watch on YouTube or Facebook, both of which we drew our notes from the YouTube stream, so.
The first one was Nikeem the Dream versus ZDP in the fall of the Fallen, with the Fallen, joined by the Fallen as always.
Nikeem, famously the man with the pacifier.
Yeah, the man with the pacifier that I didn't really understand or get until tonight. You can ask Tiny Brian the moment this match was over, when he came back to our seats. I said, I want that kid. I want that kid in studio. That kid's got the way that he can twist his body in the middle of the air is unlike anybody else on the roster. And there's a lot of really talented people on the roster. Love that spot right there where ZDP catches him. You don't expect that.
Oh, the baby catch?
Yeah, don't
Looks
expect
like
that
he's going
amount.
for a Hurricane Rana, and then he suddenly just is in his arms.
But, of course, ZDP, I mean, yeah, this Nikeem the Dream kid, he's incredible. He's also a really, really nice, humble kid. He seemed so excited when I was like, hey, you need to come by. Nice kid. ZDP picks up the win over him, though. A lot of near-fall attempts, a lot of 2 not quite 3s. Great, like, hurricane backbreaker or neck breaker from Nikeem the Dream there. ZDP wins. Nikeem the Dream, up and coming. This is what the pre-show is all about, right? Is you send a babyface out there. Two or 3 weeks ago, they hated Nikeem the Dream.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was one of them.
I remember him being, I mean, there wasn't really a whole lot of a pop, but there was on Thursday, and I'm glad to see that for him.
People are finally seeing what he can do, and people are getting behind him. That's what I love so much about these pre-show matches. Is it really is built to see if the crowd is even interested in you at all, like slightly at all, and we know that from behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. The point of getting on the pre-show matches is to see if you can even halfway cut it on the rest of the regular show.
These people who are half paying attention while they're getting their popcorn and sitting down, if you can catch their eye, you may be onto something.
And it's also the most hardcore of the hardcore there too. So they know what they like, they know what they don't like. You have to kind of, especially Davis Arena nowadays, you have to appease both sets. You got to get the guys who don't watch every single minute of every single thing, and you got to get the hardcore people behind you as well.
Yeah, the people that are there week in, week out.
Have been for years. Don't care about Netflix. Don't care about Matt Jones. Care about OVW. You got to get those guys behind your back as well.
Yeah.
Second match of the night was AJ Vest versus Jason Hendrix. We kind of were confused, kind of looking at each other for a little bit. We were like, is his last name really Vest? And he wears the vest?
Yeah, it was. That's kind of what we were talking about there. But yeah, I mean, hey, that's a very appropriate name.
The kid's tall, good looking, ton of heat. People don't like him. I thought that it was funny that he calls himself the best in the world. I think that's
well,
that's really clever.
Sounds like an early aughts web comic, like a vest in the world. It's just a vest wandering around having adventures.
It's like poorly drawn.
Yeah, definitely.
Jokes
poorly.
About science or something.
Exactly. You're feeling my vibe.
AJ Vest picks up the win over Jason Hendrix. Both of these guys, kind of like we were saying about the pre-show and its whole design. Anyway, kind of liking both of these guys a little bit more every time I see them. Yeah. I do get genuinely annoyed by AJ Vest, and I think that's a good thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. What is it that annoys you about him?
He's just too not pretty enough to be that arrogant.
Wow.
And he needs new ring attire.
Like a different vest or lose the vest?
Well, I mean his I don't know.
The name.
Maybe lose the name, but I don't know. I noticed him both on Thursday, and then again I noticed at the Nightmare Rumble. His attire looks kind of dingy. It's like, come on, guy.
He's on the road. He's
building.
Match 3 of the pre-show here: Ragnar the Ruthless versus Jebediah Blackhawk.
Great match.
Yeah, It was a relatively quick match, but it was a great match, and I mean Ragnar is no slouch, and Jebediah is no spring chicken, but he definitely knows his way around the ring and can still hang, still go, and lo and behold, first match of the year, Country Boy does all right. Jebediah Blackhawk comes away with the win, and does a couple little dances along the way. That was pretty nice.
Yeah, the dances are over. People love the dance.
Yeah, I do too.
We can neither confirm or deny here at the unofficial podcast of Ohio Valley Wrestling that Jebediah would have been married a long time ago if it hadn't been for Cotton Eye Joe.
The thing that I liked the most about this match, especially watching it in person, is how well the younger guy could kind of work down. Like you said, Jebediah Blackhawk's no spring chicken. Even talking to him for the little bit we did in the parking lot, he mentioned, there's a lot younger guys more interested in me. Very
He said
humble.
moreover.
Yeah, more over than me. Yeah, more over.
Yeah,
exactly.
but it's not about that here at the OVW podcast. It's being able to connect with everybody and allow them a chance to tell their stories, and we hope to get his one day.
And as much as I would love to have Ragnar the Ruthless, I would rather have Jebediah Blackhawk. I can't imagine, for as long as that guy's been at the company, he's seen it up and down and up and down and down and down and way up.
Yeah.
I want to see what he has to say about some of the stuff. It's great to have this current perspective in our interviews of people that have been around for 3 years or less.
Yeah.
But I want to see a guy in here to really tell us about the other side of the true history of OVW, a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. He's one of the originals, and I'd love to hear stories going back to its inception.
Ragnar the Ruthless does a great job of working around Jebediah Blackhawk here, but Jebediah Blackhawk wins the match. One of the big themes of the evening, as we move into the main show here, right before we talk about the women's battle royale. Aaron Stevens, former Damian Sandow, he has a heavy alliance with the National Wrestling Alliance
That he
these
does.
days. He comes out to take notes several times, pretty much every match of the evening.
He was noticeably present throughout the course of the whole entire.
And we've been seeing him more and more week after week. He seems to come out for more and more matches.
Yeah, he does. Wow.
Yeah, he's trying to get a grasp on the whole roster, not just as we thought before. Maybe he's just here for Von Rocket. Who knows? It seems like he has his finger in a lot of different plates, on a lot of different plates. His finger in a bunch of soups. Where is his finger? He's got a lot of fingers, and they're all over the place.
There's fingers in various dishes.
Yeah,
yes.
fingers in various dishes.
So we have resolved that though we have seen the pay-per-view, we were there, most of us were there live, we have resolved not to spoil it in this event.
Yes.
But we can say, because it was known even on that Thursday, that the men's Royal Rumble or the men's Nightmare Rumble would be to get a shot not at either one of the OVW heavyweight championships, national or otherwise, but the NWA World Championship.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
So it seems like with this discussion of this NWA manager coming to observe, we also get this NWA title that is apparently going to be in contention by whoever won the men's Nightmare Rumble.
Which title is it again?
The one that the one that EC3 has on his shoulder
the big
now.
boy?
Yeah,
The 10 pounds of gold?
Wow.
Yeah, that one. And so yeah, that's what I find interesting is that the connections between OVW and the NWA seem to be deepening.
Yes, that is quite apparent and noticeable. But him being out so many times during the course of the evening, I mean, if he's not interested in a particular person, then what exactly is it that we think he's looking at or will happen next?
He's maybe just scouting for the promotion as a whole. I
suppose that's possible.
We will find out in the coming weeks.
We will.
Could
Better
we
to
see
have
an
questions.
invasion?
I don't know.
If the NWA invaded, would they just invade? I mean,
Here's the
they're
thing.
way bigger than
I don't want to
OVW.
I don't want to take the shit out of the NWA. Not a single person in OVW would give a fuck.
Oh, if they invaded?
Nobody would give a fuck if Tyrus came down and fucking was at OVW. Nobody would give a shit. I think that would. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I don't think it's a good idea. That's all.
Isn't that Billy Corgan's promotion? Though, if Billy Corgan showed up on a Thursday night, I
That
might
might
get
be
interested.
Yeah, but
Did he bring his guitar?
An invasion has to have heat, and I don't think that a lot of the OVW people would really care. I don't think it's enough for them to just to get mad that bad guys are here. I think that they just wouldn't care, if we're being honest. I don't think I would.
Okay.
Well,
Eh.
I would like to point
We'll
out while
see
we
if
have a
these words
second
come back to haunt Jackman.
that if you go to Fight TV
I've got an excuse this week.
and watch this week's episode, we are featured prominently in the very first shot of the episode that took place last Thursday, January 4th.
Yeah, all three of us.
All three of us.
We got a big battle royale here. The winner of this battle royale will come out at number 10 in the Nightmare Royal, which is the halfway point. The Nightmare Rumble for the women is only a 20-person rumble, not a 30-person rumble like the men's. So coming in at 10th is a huge strategic advantage.
Yes.
Between Charlie Pierce, Harley Jane, Warhammer, Lilith Grey, Arie Alexander, Riley Matthews, Dream Girl Ellie, Leila Grey, Alice Crowley, Micah Madrid, and Hamiar, Leila Grey walked away the victor. What did you think about Leila Grey's victory here?
I mean, it wasn't very surprising that she won, although at the very end, I was wondering if it was going to end up being Dream Girl Ellie versus Leila Grey. I personally thought that Dream Girl Ellie was going to win, but it didn't work out that way. Sorry, Ellie.
Lots of development between the newly found friendship of Leila Grey and Dream Girl Ellie on this. A lot of tandem maneuvers for them to gain strategic advantages, a lot of looking out for each other, mostly on Dream Girl Ellie's part. I felt like Dream Girl Ellie was the one going out of her way to make sure Leila Grey wasn't in danger.
I, in fact, heard Dream Girl shout, "That's my friend," several times during that match.
And that really popped one of the guys behind us. It really did. And it popped me how much it popped him. Like, I thought it was really funny that he thought it was really funny.
Yeah, the crowd was... I've noticed the crowd chanting at Ellie, "Make better choices, Ellie," a lot.
Yeah.
The
one of the bad choices was not that new shirt that she was wearing, because I like that new shirt.
You mentioned that you thought Dream Girl Ellie should have won. Yes, her DGF and E shirt, like the old ECW print shirt. It's a great shirt.
That's pretty cool.
You mentioned you thought Dream Girl Ellie should win. I thought it should be Riley Matthews. I thought
that would be an excellent choice. I mean, she's young. She's got the skill set. I've seen her at the Spot Monkey promotions quite a few times before she made her way to OVW. And if Thursday night wasn't her night, one of these days will be her night, because she's incredibly talented.
Yeah, I just thought, even though she didn't win, she won in the wrestling way. She walked out a different competitor in the eyes of the viewer after this. And because of that, I really wanted to see her get the actual victory as well. But she really, 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 really came out during this battle royale.
I need to make a statement too while we're here. I've made a couple of statements about Harley Jane over the past few weeks. That she is, I believe I called her the Hollywood Haley J we have at home.
You did.
Since then she has made strides. Her look is now very different from Hollywood, and I think it was a little too similar for a while when she was competing here at OVW, but she got some different attire. She has a different look, and she's definitely differentiated herself. So I retract those statements.
Did she smack you around over the weekend?
I can neither confirm nor deny whether or not I got smacked around by OVW competitors. No.
Got my eye on you, Woodard.
It's not hard. I take up a lot of space.
Well, and you're not taking credit for her change because
because
we know women don't listen to this.
No.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm just noting the change
podcast.
and just being in favor of it.
We have a non-title tag up next against the champions who are holding the belts, the Golden Lions and the Fallen with ZDP. No, you love the Fallen. No, I don't really like the Golden Lions.
This was the match for you, Jackman.
This was the bathroom break.
Actually, it was a pretty good match to sit and watch.
I bet it was. I rewatched it whenever I sat down and rewatched it on YouTube for posterity. But at the time, I had other priorities, and it was the bathroom. Golden Lions win. Not a shocker here.
No, but it's always a treat for me to see the Fallen. One of these days we're going to have to get them in there to talk to us, whether it's individually or as a group. I would love to get the chance to sit and talk with those guys, especially the Reverend, because I find him highly entertaining. He's hilarious if you catch him live.
I think the Reverend could be the first guy that we do a kayfabe and a non-kayfabe, because he's another one of those guys we were talking about earlier that's been around, been teaching wrestling for a long time, wrestled a lot throughout the Midwest. Would love to have him in with the Fallen and them kind of just crowd the studio here and intimidate us.
This is an awfully small studio to have those three dudes, especially if the Nephilim brings his
giant wings. Yeah, but I do think that he's one of those guys that maybe for the first time we could do maybe a little behind the scenes one too.
That's fine. And if I had to guess, if he interviews the way he wrestles, that will be the first time we speak to somebody who's not wearing shoes. But let's not put him in charge of bringing the food. How about that?
Yeah. Seems like anytime there's food involved, it goes right down the straight front of those pants.
And then comes back out and gets eaten.
By
Yes.
somebody else.
And sometimes by him, too.
Yeah.
No, I've seen him eat it a lot.
Yeah. Was it Christmas Chaos or the one before that? He was outside the ring for a good 20, 30 minutes, and he was more entertaining than the match was.
Yeah, that was...
And if you just watch at home and you're familiar with The Fallen, the camera does not do the Reverend justice, because he is a one-man show in his own right, and I love watching him work because he's super entertaining.
There was a small interview segment in there between Brian and Jesse Goddard's in between the Fallen match and our next match between Will Austin and the Kentucky Country Boy Heavyweight Champion Star Rider.
Yeah, that's right. And the interview sounded like this. And you really couldn't.
You're too close to the mic. The interview
Hold on.
actually
Hold,
said-
please. The interview kind of sounded like this. I'm upset.
Oh, wow.
I'm really upset. It's a new year. It's a new me. I'm enraged. And I'm just not going to take it anymore. I mean, you could not hear a damn word.
Certainly not in the ring. And even going back listening, I had to turn my TV up to
Yeah,
actually...
it's.
I think that was a literal technical problem on
it
their part. You
it
can't let 'em
probably
all-
was. It probably was, and that's
They're
not
growing
me.
pains. Let's not hold it against them.
No, none of that. I'm not ripping on Mr. Spectacular. I'm not ripping on Brian Kennison. I'm not ripping on anybody. I'm just saying.
I'll rip on Brian Kinnison. I'm just kidding.
I couldn't hear anything, and that goes for going back and watching at the house. It was really, really hard. I know that technical difficulties are things that happen, but yeah, I got like nothing out of that unless I put the captions on or something.
I'm going to be honest. Jesse does look like a proper champion in a suit, though.
He does.
Sure.
He looks great in a
He
suit.
dresses up nicely.
Yeah, he should.
He also looks like
should do that.
he could probably get you some good tax deductions too.
Oh, yeah. Or like
That'd be
a
handsome
Mercedes.
accountant.
Yeah.
That would be a handsome accountant. But he does love Jesse's heart, but he's so low energy. Why is he so low energy?
I think that he's trying to do a kind of more old school 70s type champion, where maybe like what Nick Aldis was doing a few years ago when he was NWA champion. Just the suit, the measured promos. I guess it's maybe not what rest of everybody else on OVW does, so it does seem like a huge contrast whenever he does it. But I think that that's kind of what he's going for in these sit-down interviews. And also, I think Brian Kinnison, in all honesty, seriously, should do more sit-down interviews. I do think that he brings a certain
Agreed.
heft to it that is not something that every wrestling, ringside journalist guy can do, or whatever his title is. I really think he can bring a certain heft and intensity to it. I'd love to see more of those, not just for EC3 and Jesse, but for everybody.
Yeah.
I really think that if that's something they wanted to expand upon, that could add a lot of weight to some of these. And I'd love to see even the old school. I'm sure it's harder with
Go to
EC3.
the ring, and at this time, I'd like to call to the ring.
Oh, no, I'd love to see him in the middle with them on either side.
Yeah.
I think it's probably hard to do with Jesse Goddard's and EC3 given their schedules and stuff. But some of these other guys, get them in for a little pre-tape, where you can actually get them together. And I think that could be a really, really, really great recurring segment. I think they should go for that, totally. Will Austin and Kentucky Country Boy Heavyweight Champion Star Rider have the type of match that you would expect from these two guys. Kind of like that the Rush Division belt has kind of changed into something totally different under Cal Hero. And it seems like this Kentucky Country Boy Heavyweight belt is now kind of the quote-unquote worker, fast-paced guy belt.
Yeah, and this isn't something that typically falls to a specific type of person on the roster.
Mhm.
I mean, since we've been covering this, it's been Crixus, it's been Superior Tony Evans, now it's Star Rider. Who else has it been in the last 6 months, year?
Oh, I mean, of course, Luscious Lawrence was the inaugural champion.
That's right.
It's been all over, been around. Will Austin, he was a babyface 2 weeks ago, and now he's a heel again.
He's the future.
He's the future, yeah.
The future's always moving and changing.
Always.
I do like to watch the man work.
I
Like,
do
he
too.
is he is fun. He and Star Rider put on a good show in that match.
And not to ruin the pay-per-view either, but you want to see the best of Will Austin? That pay-per-view match that he had was the best of Will Austin. That thing was incredible. He was really, really, really good at that. We'll cover that in long form, of course. I guess that'll drop this Thursday on the feed.
Of course.
No spoilers, but
No.
that was the best of Will Austin in that match. So it was really, really, really killer. Really, really killer.
I can't wait to talk about the pay-per-view. There's a lot of surprises and a couple good stories along the way.
There are things we need. Yeah, let's not get into it.
So after
That's why I didn't.
after the 1-2-3 Star Rider wins, of course, Tony Evans and Jay De Niro come out to confront Star Rider. Heck of a promo from Tony Evans,
As always.
but even more than most weeks this past week.
Yeah.
He really, really, really was getting people riled up, and he didn't care. And
No.
he reminds us that it's been 19 days since he lost his championship, which is some of the most like pissant heel stuff I've ever. 19 days. It's been. I haven't slept or eaten 19 days. It's like
It sounds
bro, it's
like Nothing Compares to You by Sinead O'Connor.
You know Prince wrote that?
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. He also wrote Manic Monday, too.
He did.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, that's We'll talk about that off here.
This is the Prince. Welcome to the Prince podcast.
Welcome to the OVW podcast for Prince. He was a wrestling fan, I'm sure. He liked ridiculous stuff. No, he probably didn't get it. He was like, why aren't they naked? Heck of a promo from Tony Evans, though. Heck of a promo from Tony Evans. Bout 4 of the evening was a make or break match for the women's Rumble, Nightmare Rumble. The stipulation of this is that the winner of the match would come out at 20, which would be the biggest advantage of the night.
And the loser would come in at number 1, making their chances go pretty much right down the toilet.
And when you saw the two competitors, Shalance and TT, to get above the physical of wrestling and get into the meta of wrestling, we knew Shalance wasn't going to win this.
No. Just there for show as always.
She's really great, though. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I think that she's really, really, really. I think that this gimmick is. It's pigeonholed her into a place where she's not going to be able to wrestle in
Like-
a way like
Live that down or
yeah.
change into
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think it's a bad gimmick because it does its job.
Oh, yeah.
But I do think that she's like a really, really, really like athletic wrestler and a really like technically sound wrestler. And sometimes the gimmick stuff gets in the way of being able to show that.
Well, I mean, she wrestles with a live mic in her hand.
Yeah, she's great.
That's crazy.
There is I've never really seen that a whole lot. I mean, you don't see a whole lot of people like talking about the match that they are in while they are in it. It happens
less
some
singing
much less
about
singing about it. That's the first time I've ever seen somebody sing while they were wrestling, and to just see her get like clocked in the head as she's trying to throw one of those really loud, really long, really intense notes of hers was very satisfying. I thought that was pretty funny because there was one in particular where she kind of like got right in her face and it was like doink.
Yeah, TT very helpfully turned her off. That was nice.
Thank you, TT.
Yeah, and that got the crowd over immediately.
And once again, TT has that incredible finish of hers, the hang 10 or
We're
the
actually
surfs
about
up
to see it right here.
Yeah,
as
we've just about
TT
got it pulled up.
wraps her up, slams her face into the ground for the 1-2-3 there, making her the winner of this 20th spot in the Rumble.
Yes.
Big advantage.
Yeah, that's kind of a big deal, kids.
Got it.
And-
Oh, go ahead. No, I was just moving. I was going on to the next match.
No, go ahead.
My bad, man. The next match, since this is the week of the Battle Royal, we've had 2 huge multi-man matches on this show. Winner of this one gets, much like the women's, placed directly halfway into the Rumble match, which is not a bad place to be. The 15th spot.
No, middle of the road. You cut through half of your competition, and then you only have to deal with the other half at the most.
And the person who ends up winning this match is Jack Vaughn, who, for someone like Jack Vaughn, getting the opportunity to come in at 15th is dangerous.
Yeah.
Very, very
For
dangerous.
everyone else.
For everyone else,
Yeah.
yes.
Jack Vaughn weirdly got the crowd popped for him this week. Too.
He's been around long enough, and he was too good with that belt, and people noticed that.
Yeah.
Plus he also got the sympathy because he did experience a personal loss.
That's true.
In the
That's
meeting.
true.
So
I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, I think that was part of it. But I think you're right. The goodwill extended into the Nightmare Rumble. Not to spoil anything, but Jack Vaughn.
Let's
Great.
run down these competitors that Jack Vaughn beat in this match.
Let's see. We've got Big Zo, Cal Hero, TW3, Omar Amir, Luscious Lawrence, Shane Mercer.
Heck of a performance from Shane Mercer.
Yeah.
Heck of a performance from
Yeah.
Shane Mercer.
Very impressive, by the way. Truth Magnum, Adam Revolver, The Human Thumb, Orion, and Jay De Niro.
I really didn't know where this was going to go. I was a little surprised. Not surprised at the outcome, but I was surprised to see all of these kind of heavy hitters all in the ring at the same time.
Yeah. You just never know when it comes to these things, but that is a who's who of the
this is it.
top end of the OVW roster.
This is it. These are your guys. Short of Jesse and EC3, these are all of your guys in one match. Also, shout out to the guy who thought it was really funny when Dream Gorilla was talking about how they were friends. Also, could not believe Jay De Niro wore a suit. He's like, he's gonna wrestle in a suit.
Yeah, that blew his mind, man. That guy right there is gonna wrestle in a suit.
Yeah, that guy was my favorite. As much as I've complained about fans on this show, that guy genuinely popped me like several times. About 6 of the night was Big Beef versus Real One, or Enzo, as he's formerly known. He's making his in-ring debut for the OVW, his action debut for the OVW. We've seen him in a couple of talking segments. Saw him be a special guest referee, of course. Really loved the pairing of Big Beef and Enzo, because Big Beef is giant and Enzo's not.
Oh yeah, Big Beef is huge, and Enzo is nowhere near the same size as Big Beef.
Big Beef can also just go.
Yeah.
Like, he's the perfect guy to come in. He's got a lot of goodwill in the crowd. People really, really like him.
Yeah. Everybody except for the Real One, who did 5 minutes of stand-up before the match even started.
Yeah, I was going to say, we had some things to say about Real One's pre-match promo when he was the guest ref.
I don't need no introduction, but I'm going to talk about
here's
shit
my
for
introduction.
5 minutes. How you
Having just
doing?
been
I don't need an introduction from you. Allow me to do it myself.
Having just been introduced.
Yeah.
He couldn't like cut off Linda Kay yet, right? Because we still want him to be. He's still supposed to be a babyface, right?
Who?
Enzo.
We're supposed to cheer for him,
right?
He's present. I don't know
I'm not saying
I don't
that
know what
you
side
have
we're
to
on,
cheer
or
for him.
what side he's on, or we should be on in relation to him. But
he looks like a bag of old clothes.
yeah,
I mean,
kind of.
nothing but love for you. Nothing but love for you, Jersey boy.
Would love to have you on.
This is what happens when your mom donates all your Supreme stuff to Goodwill.
Yeah, this ridiculous Supreme Everlast collab that he's got going on.
Hey, you do you, man.
The Supreme like armband, like double Supreme armband. Yeah, he does look absolutely ridiculous. In no other world from wrestling would he be on TV.
Oh, yes, he would.
Not every week in a prominent role. He would be in the trash can.
Cops.
Cops. That's what I was trying to get to.
Yeah,
with cops.
it's cops.
He kind of looks like Weird Barbie.
So obviously we love the new talent at OVW. Here at the OVW podcast.
It gives us something to talk about.
Real One beats Big Beef. Not a surprise there.
No, not at all.
This is of course important. We got to let everybody know Enzo is here to stay. He can beat people that you like. He can beat people that are bigger than him.
He can beat us if we don't shut up about it.
Yeah, apparently. And he's got a lot of fat jokes. All of these years away from WWE were obviously spent writing fat jokes.
Yeah,
So-
there were a ton of one-liners in the 5
Obviously.
minutes before and after, and probably a little bit during.
Obviously, I can't wait to get him in here.
We're gonna might have to Wizard of Oz you that day. for just so I don't reach over and
Oh no,
so I don't reach over and win one this time. Stick around for the feed, folks. The live show after this. Stick around for that. Oh wait, you guys can't hear me. Well, go back and listen to it whenever you hear this.
Except we won't post. We won't let it stay up. But
We might this one.
okay.
Tony Gunn comes out and confronts Real One. That's the reason we have this match, is so that Tony Gunn can come out and confront Real One.
Setting
after a
the
win.
stage for future conflict with Tony Gunn.
And again, can't wait for it. Super into it. Like, cannot wait for Real One and Tony Gunn.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not hating on the fact that the Real One's here. It just, he gives us a lot to talk about. That's all.
We had our second sit-down interview with Kinnison between EC3 right before the final match of the night.
Much better mic'd.
Much better mic'd, yeah. But still, that I love seeing it twice in a night. Really reminded me, like, this is maybe something that they've needed, like, to do. Like, maybe they need to do this more often. I think the format looks great. I think that him with the 2 belts on looks great. I think it feels very hefty.
And they
feels
have the
very
facility
real.
for it.
Yeah, and now
I
they
feel
have
like
the
they
facility
did not
for it.
have the space to have this kind of a sit-down interview 3 months ago.
Well, that could very well be the case.
Well, and just ask EC3. He's the entire reason that anything got renovated. If you listen to his little interview there, he's the only reason that there's renovation and that Davis Arena looks as good as it does.
Sure.
Sure, that CEO man named Ed and his investors had nothing to do with it.
No, not at all.
So for once here in the last match, in my opinion, not for once. That's rude. Not accurate. Most of the time, I don't think that the true main event is the best match of the night. This match between Joe Mack and Luke Curtis, I thought was the match of the night by far.
Absolutely.
Loved
I 100% agree with that.
It had everything.
Mm-hmm. It really did. Certified Luke Curtis is the best wrestler
And
probably
this is-
on the roster.
Probably bears saying that this is the men's make or break match.
Right.
Yeah,
And that
number
winner
1
goes
comes in.
or loser comes in number 1, winner comes in number 30.
Yes.
These guys are friends. These guys have been tag team partners for a long time.
Champions together.
Champions together for a long time.
Yeah.
Associated through a few different factions together.
Mm-hmm.
Made Shannon
And
the Dude
probably
real
know
nervous.
each other better than any 2 competitors know each other on the entire roster.
Yeah, I'm sure that certified Luke Curtis knows better than anybody else on the OVW roster that Joe Mack is a baby.
They couldn't even, they're so in tune. These 2 guys are so in tune, they couldn't even help but not still look like a tag team, even though they're
Yeah,
wrestling against
they
each other.
wore matching outfits even though they are competing head-to-head for the first time. Daniel Spencer, the official for that match, by the way, in
Yes.
case you're following along at home.
The presence of Shannon the Dude right here at the beginning of this match was, I think, kind of let everybody know, like, the fix is in.
Well, Shannon was so nervous. He just worried over this whole match.
Yeah, he was sweating sequins the whole time, kids.
These guys really put over the fact that they know each other really well. They kind of even started with not even wanting to wrestle each other. But
Yeah.
Luke Curtis, as he often does, had a plan. It involved his mother. That's not a joke.
Nope.
No. No, not at
He
all.
said, "Mom, listen up."
He faked an injury to distract Joe Mack, play with Joe Mack's sympathies, and ended up winning the match, beating Joe Mack, his former best friend.
That was not a hell in a cell. That was a hell of a sell. I mean, seriously. When it happened, I leaned over and told Brian, "Man, he's not really hurt."
Is he?
And then it went on and on
Mm-hmm.
and
I
on.
mean, I was halfway through setting up the GoFundMe to help cover his
Yeah.
recovery.
Yeah, that's
when he
how
ran back out
sure
and got
we
the
were that he really was hurt after all. And I had doubted him, and that was the case. That wasn't the case. And that is probably one of the, oh my God, I'm hurt, wait,
No, I'm fine.
no, I'm fine, sells I've ever seen in wrestling, period. So congrats to you. That sell was certified, baby.
So I'm gonna stick with me here. This is a little different.
All right, what you
Stick
got?
with me here. Okay. There's this movie called Teeth that I was a really big fan of when I was growing up, and it's about a young woman who's learning about her sexuality in the world, and she has teeth in her vagina. And there's one part in this movie where
did you find this movie?
it's a modern classic.
Don't say shit like that when I'm trying to drink, man. You almost ended up wearing this Coke Zero.
But there's this part in this movie where you see the first time the teeth are clenched down, and because it is a vagina, there's a piece that goes in there that men have.
Watch the gestures. Watch the gestures.
And this happens. This clinch happens, and then you see it happen. And I used to love watching this movie with people who had never seen it the first time, right? Because I'd sit there with anticipation the whole damn time to watch their reaction. That was me while Luke Curtis was selling. I was like, I can't wait for you to get up, baby. You're going to get up and screw him over. I can't wait. I was sitting there watching everybody else in the audience, and I was waiting for their reaction because I felt like I already knew what it was going to be. That was how Luke Curtis. I felt kind of the exact opposite. I know the man so well. I'm such a big fan. I know how smart he is. I knew that this was all a ruse.
Yeah.
And to screw over your friend in such spectacular fashion.
Yeah, it was glorious. It was as rich and luxurious as the robe that he wore to the ring.
Or his sun-kissed hair. Joe Mack would go on to lose the match, of course, as we mentioned, which means he was the first entrant in the Nightmare Rumble. And Luke Curtis is the 30th. And we've seen how good Luke Curtis is at cheating. That's a dangerous place for everybody else.
For somebody with his skill set and his sense for wrestling in general, coming in at number 30 spells danger for everybody else in that match.
Without having seen it and without spoiling it, how long did it take for him to get in the ring after he came out at 30th? I have a feeling he probably spent most of the time not getting in the ring, right? Just waiting for his opportunity. That's what I envision. That's what I envision.
You'll just have to find out. We'll talk about it later on in a couple days, and you'll just. Yeah,
I'm about halfway through the pay-per-view as it is, so I'll get it finished.
I haven't gone back to watch it yet, but I definitely want to go back and watch it because I want to catch all the commentary that I missed, and probably comedy too.
So are we live?
We are now live in the Facebook group, guys.
Well,
all right.
Let me.
You want to take us around the post roll here, and you want me to do it while you're switching gears?
Well, let's talk about the group first of all,
okay.
before we actually close the podcast portion of this.
All right, we will make that a thing.
So you can follow us on Facebook, and we do also have
to do that.
The our unofficial OVW fan site or fan zone. Unofficial OVW fan zone, which is our the OVW fan site that we manage on Facebook.
Where say you that can 5 times fast.
I don't think I can.
You can't say it once.
I don't think I could say it. I don't think I said it once.
You didn't.
But come gather up there, talk about your favorite wrestlers.
Oh, the fan zone?
Yes.
Oh.
Should be live in the fan zone.
Let's take a gander, shall we?
We appreciate you.
It's
guys
neat that we can watch ourselves while we're doing the things.
Any support for this so far has been really, really great. We really appreciate it.
I did not see it.
We've got
nope.
We've got some really, really, really great fans.
I know, right?
We're not in the fan zone. We're in our page, right?
You guys are the coolest.
Somehow.
Hold on, I'm trying to find us.
Someone's shown up. Is that you?
If it was me, I couldn't tell you.
Oh. Well, hi one watcher. Everybody wave.
Tell us your name. Do they have a name?
All right. Well, let's go ahead and close out the podcast, and we'll stay in in here for a few more minutes.
All right. The OVW podcast, the 10th Carney Award-nominated unofficial podcast of Ohio Valley Wrestling, is produced by Blacklight Moon Productions at Nut House Studios in Lexington, Kentucky. The OVW podcast broadcast team is Jack Minox and my co-host,
Brian Hines.
Our studio engineer and editor is Malachi P.S. Woodard. Executive producer is Tiny Brian K. Woodard. Senior producer for The Blimp is Victor Anderson. After watching Wrestlers on Netflix, visit ovwpodcast.com/podcasters to find all episodes of our unofficial Wrestlers After Show. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcast, rate us 5 stars, and give us a review. You can also follow us at OVW Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, the newly renovated YouTube page, and Brian?
Wherever you damn well please.
Thank you guys so much. Love you guys.
Thanks again.
And we're going to stay live here in the chat room, folks. Now we have